Hi guys, a man called David phoned into the Jeremy Vine show where he spoke to host Nick Ferrari. Now David is very angry about asylum seekers arriving in Britain and making claims. Sorry, not asylum seekers, what he calls illegals. But David has a novel approach to this problem. He wants people who support the quote-unquote illegals to chip in and pay for the cost of hosting them. Oh, and by the way, David is a British migrant living in France. You couldn't make this up.
David, your reaction to Suella Braverman's dream, as Owen referenced?
Well, I would say that it's probably my dream as well. And as for the person who's described as a young man at the end of the counter, I think he's one of what I would class as the loony left. There's a very simple solution for people of his thinking. If people like him are in the majority of the country, is a very simple solution. The government should work out what is the total cost of one of these so-called illegals in the UK, and then say to all these people who support them, you make a contribution to this fund. And whatever money is in the fund, we will calculate how many can be supported in the country, and that number can stay, but the rest will have to go.
David, thank you.
Okay. Even Nick Ferrari is like, what the hell are you talking about? Let's pass on the irony that David, a migrant in France, is calling in to complain about migration in Britain. Okay, so let's get into this solution of his. So people who support asylum seekers, because we're not talking about illegal immigration here, we're talking about asylum seekers who are in hotels at the moment. They put in claims for asylum. The Tory government hasn't invested the resources necessary to process these claims, and there's a backlog of about 170,000 claims. And because there's no accommodation available, the government is putting people up in hotels, and there's a cost related to that. Now, there are some private companies who are middlemen, and I don't know if these private companies have been donating to the Conservative Party or not, but somebody's making some money out of this. And you have asylum seekers staying in hotels who don't want to stay in hotels, who would like their claim processed as soon as possible, so they could move on to the next stage and eventually work and contribute to society to rebuild their lives in Britain. That's what they want to do. The vast majority of people who have claimed asylum want to contribute. They want a job. Many of them have skills that are necessary. There are people who have, who can work on farms, work in hospitality, work in the NHS. They want to contribute, but they can't because of the rules. Now, you would imagine somebody like David calling in from France would be demanding that instead of, spending money on asylum seekers, people would be spending money on processing the claims, hiring the staff necessary. But he's not. He wants do-gooders to chip in and pay for this. But the problem is not so much the cost. The problem is the claims are not being processed. 170,000 claims. It's going to take years to clear that backlog. And the Tories have not come up with any solutions to clear the backlog. All they're talking about is stopping the boats. What they should be doing is hiring the staff necessary, pumping money into the Home Office departments to clear the backlog, and allow people who are refugees to work. They want to work. They don't want to be a quote-unquote burden on the state. They want to contribute to society. And I think if they were able to, it would actually benefit both them and society, because people would be less inclined to look on them in a negative light. But the Tories don't want to do that, because that would be fixing the problem in a sense. So here we have David, a migrant in France, calling in to complain about migration. As I said, you couldn't make it up. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.